So let's talk about something that's quietly happened but is a massive deal. The end of the last major nuclear arms treaty between the United States and Russia. And no, this isn't some history lesson. This is the new reality we're living in.
Think about this. For the first time in a generation, the world's two biggest nuclear powers are now operating without any rules limiting their most powerful weapons. This isn't some far-off threat. It's happening right now. The guardrails are officially off, which brings up a pretty scary question. What does this new era of total uncertainty mean for all of us?
So first, let's just dive right into the immediate fallout, what actually happens when the rules that kept a fragile peace for decades just vanish.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, the New START Treaty was basically the last pillar of arms control holding things together between the US and Russia. It was all about limiting those strategic nuclear weapons. You know, the really big ones that can fly across continents. The whole point was to create stability and make sure neither side got any nasty surprises.
You know, losing this is a huge deal, and it's not just about weapon numbers. The end of the treaty means no more on-site inspections, which is how each country could literally check on the other's arsenal. It also means no more sharing data. This creates a huge information vacuum, and that breeds mistrust, the kind of mistrust that could easily kickstart a brand new arms race.
To really get what we've lost, we got to look back at the specific rules of New START. These weren't just suggestions. They were hard, verifiable limits designed to keep everything stable.
All right, first up, the big one, 1550. That was the absolute maximum number of strategic nuclear warheads, again, the intercontinental kind, that either country could have deployed and ready to go at any moment. It was a clear, solid cap.
Next up, 700. This number put a cap on the actual delivery systems. We're talking about the land-based missiles, the submarine-launched missiles, and the heavy bombers that carry the warheads. So you see, it wasn't just about controlling the bombs, but also the things that deliver the bombs.
And finally, 800. This was the total number of launchers, both active and in storage, that each side could have. So when you put those three numbers together, you had this really transparent system that left very little room for guessing games.
But here's a really crucial point. You have to understand what the treaty didn't cover. It never put limits on warheads that were kept in storage, and it didn't touch the thousands of smaller, so-called tactical nukes. This was always a big loophole, and honestly, it's a key part of the story of why the whole thing fell apart.
So, how did we get to this point? I mean, a treaty this important doesn't just evaporate overnight. Its collapse was slow, happening over years of growing tension and political friction that just wore away at its foundation.
You can almost trace the breakdown. It really started in 2020, when inspections got paused because of the pandemic. But the real nail in the coffin came in February 2023. That's when Russia officially announced it was suspending its participation. That one move basically started the countdown to the treaty's death.
And at that point, the gap between the two sides just became too wide to fix. The US position was that Russia was already breaking the rules. Russia, on the other hand, pointed to US support for Ukraine as its reason for backing out and refusing any more inspections. With both sides dug in like that, the whole system of verification just crumbled.
Okay, let's zoom out for a minute. To really understand why this one treaty was so important, we need to look at the sheer scale of these arsenals on a global level. This number really says it all, 87%. That's right, the US and Russia together have nearly 9 out of every 10 nuclear weapons on the entire planet. That just shows you the incredible responsibility they have, and why an agreement between just the two of them has such a massive global impact. And this chart, wow, it really drives the point home. The treaty limit was 1,550 deployed warheads. But look at the total estimated arsenals. We're talking over 5,000 for each country. This shows you how many weapons were always outside the treaty, but it also shows the huge number that could now be put on active duty with absolutely zero restrictions.
So, the big question is, with New START gone, what's left? Is there anything else in place to stop a full-blown 21st century arms race?
Well, it's not a complete free-for-all. Other agreements are still out there. You've got the big one, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which legally requires nuclear states to work towards disarmament. And there are newer efforts, like the Treaty to Ban Nuclear Weapons Entirely, which a lot of countries have signed, even if the major nuclear powers haven't.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The guardrails are gone. Does this open the door for a dangerous, expensive, and scary new arms race? Or will this incredibly tense moment actually push the world to create a new, maybe even better, agreement for a safer future? Honestly, Nobody knows. That chapter has yet to be written.